So, thank you. Thanks for all joining. And today we are starting a new canto, Srimad Bhagavatam, second canto, and it is titled as Cosmic Manifestation. So, if you remember, the canto one is titled as Creation, and the second one is Cosmic Manifestation. So, there is a connection here. But again, as we discussed in the first chapter, we really see a brief one or two lines about creation. We don't see in depth how this creation happened in the first canto. Uh, the first canto, even though it says creation, but it gives a reason why this creation has to happen. That is all it has. The real creation is explained somewhat in the second chapter, second canto, or more in depth is third canto. Third canto is the one that explains more in depth of it. So basically, the first the first two cantos are basically the Padma Purana. It defines that the first two cantos, Canto 1 and Canto 2, I forgot that verse actually, a beautiful verse that defines the each canto of Bhagavatam. I will get it sometime back. Right now it is not in my head. So that the translation of that verse is the first canto and the second canto is the feet of Lord Krishna. The 2 feet of Lord Krishna, Canto 1 and Canto 2. So that is where the beginning. So if we all remember it, when we are asked to look the Lord, we should start with the feet. Our eyes should be on the feet, not on the face of the Lord. That is completely wrong. If anyone go to the temple and straight away look into the face of the Lord, that is not correct. We should start from the feet. Always, for any service, we should start off from the feet. Even when we are doing Abhishekam or something, we should start off from the feet, not from top to bottom. We have to go from bottom to the top. So the first two cantos are the feet of Lord Krishna. Now third and fourth are basically the thighs of Krishna. We are talking about a universal form of the Lord. So in that perspective, this is being explained. So 3 and 4 is basically the thighs of Krishna. Now, the fifth one is basically the navel of Krishna. The fifth one is navel of Krishna. Very interestingly, the navel is where Lord Brahma has come from. And the lotus has sprung from the lotus, Brahma has come and everything. So the fifth canto, if we look at it, the fifth canto is the one where it is been explained in depth details of how this material universe is created. Like basically, it has what is that, 7 dvipas, and each dvipa, especially the one we have, Jambu Dvipa, this has 9 varshas. In the 9 varshas, we are in Bharata Varsha. In the Bharata Varsha, we are even Bharata Khanda, like that. So in depth, elaborated, Sumeru, Mount Meru, so many, all these things have been explained in fifth canto. The fifth canto is basically the one where it is completely of material universe. That is his novel. Now the sixth canto is of his chest. His chest. Now sixth canto. Now 7 and 8. What are the 7 and 8? His shoulders or his hands. So 7 and 8 is shoulders. Now ninth canto is his throat. Now the 10th canto. Can anyone guess what is the 10th canto? We all know what is 10th canto, right? What is 10th canto in Srimad Bhagavatam?
Prabhuji, this is like a backbone kind of thing.
No, what is it? Yes, it is backbone, but what is it? What is the 10th canto?
Krishna pastimes, Prabhuji.
One person?
Krishna's pastimes, Prabhuji.
Yes, it is the story of Krishna. This 10th canto, entire 91 chapters dedicated to Krishna Leelas. How Krishna was born, why he was born, what is the reason behind it, and while he is growing, in Vrindavan Leelas, and then moved to Madhura Leelas, and Madhura to Dwaraka Leelas, and he's winding up. All the details have been given in that one. That is the 10th canto. 10th canto is fully about Krishna. That is why it is his face. So very, very important is in our body is the face. That is how we got recognized. That is how we got distinguished. So this is the face of Krishna. And this is the 10th canto. And his smile, especially his smile is been highlighted, especially the chapters. There are 5 chapters. I think it's starting from 29 to 33, something like that. So it's about the gopis Rasa Leela. That is the smile of Krishna. And now, 11th canto. 11th canto is his forehead. And 12th canto, that is where his description. 11th canto is the one where especially he give Uddhava Gita or instructions to Uddhava. That is where it is. A forehead, or we see, if we are also seeing that, there are a lot of reasons why it is forehead kind of. And finally, the last is 12th canto, which is his head or his crown. That is where all the instructions will comes up. Is like more knowledge, or the direction for this humanity, or the Kali Yuga. That is where it is coming from. So this is how this is being structured, the Bhagavatam. So unlike other Puranas, Bhagavatam is a very structured, very nicely connected, all these cantos, all these chapters. At the first, everyone feels confused. So many manos, so many things, all this. But if we systematically study from the beginning, there won't be any confusion at all. So who started this entire universe? Where it is all coming from? One by one, one by one. Everything is very, very clearly explained nicely. And especially in the second canto, 10th chapter, the first verse explains the significance of Bhagavatam. What what makes Bhagavatam is so special. That. So there are many things have been explained. So today we will start with the second canto, first chapter. Okay, the second canto is Cosmic Manifestation. And so we will start off with the invocation. So especially if we look at it, this is very, very special. Invocation. Where do we see invocation actually? In which other book that we studied have this invocation? They directly go into a verse actually, but it is very rare we see invocations. Where do we see invocation in another book, what we studied actually? Nobody remember? Especially Bhakti Shastri students. Nobody remember? Yes, thank you, Prabhu. That is absolutely correct. The most famous verse. What is the most famous verse in Ishopanishad? The very first verse. The
Om Purnamidam Purnamidam.
famous verse. So that means it gives something, tells what it is going to come. Or basically, we are invocating. So it's basically, you know, to know before anything, this is basically gives us something, or the mood, whom we need to in gratitude to, or something like that, that gives this one. So let us start with this one. This is one line, our famous line. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
So I will read this one, and the rest you can read it. Translation. O my Lord, the all-pervading personality of Godhead, I offer my respectful obeisances unto you. Purport. By His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada, Prabhupada Ki Jai. Vasudevaya means to Krishna, the son of Vasudeva. Since by chanting the name of Krishna, Vasudeva, one can achieve all the good results of charity, austerity, and penances, it is to be understood that by chanting of this mantra, Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya, the author or the speaker or any of the readers of Srimad Bhagavatam is offering respectful obeisances unto the Supreme Lord Krishna, the reservoir of all pleasure. In the first canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, the principles of creation are described, and thus the first canto may be called creation. Similarly, the second canto, the post-creation cosmic manifestation, is described. The different planetary systems are described in the second canto as different parts of the universal body of the Lord. For this reason, the second canto may be called the cosmic manifestation. There are 10 chapters in the second canto, and in these 10 chapters, the purpose of Srimad Bhagavatam and different symptoms of this purpose are narrated. The first chapter describes the glories of chanting, and it hints at the process by which the neophyte devotees may perform meditation on the universal form of the Lord. In the first verse, Sukadeva Goswami replies to the question of Maharaj Parikshit, who asked him about the duties at the point of death. Maharaj Parikshit was glad to receive Sukadeva Goswami, and he was proud of being descendant of Arjuna, the intimate friend of Krishna. Personally, he was very humble and meek, but he expressed his gladness that Lord Krishna was very kind to his grandfathers, the sons of Pandu, especially his own grandfather Arjuna. And because of Lord Krishna was always pleased with Maharaj Parikshit's family, at the verge of Maharaj Parikshit's death, Sukadeva Goswami was sent to help him in the process of self-realization. Maharaj Parikshit was a devotee of Lord Krishna from his childhood, so he had natural affection for Krishna. Sukadeva Goswami could understand his devotion. Therefore, he welcomed the questions about the king's duty. Because the king hinted that worship of Lord Krishna is the ultimate function of every living entity, Sukadeva Goswami welcomed the suggestion and said, because you have raised questions about Krishna, your question is most glorious. The translation of the first verse is as follows. So this is basically a prelude. So what is to come, he is explaining it. So what is to come? So in the first canto, the last chapter, we end up with one last question. What is the last question he asked? What is the duty of a person about to die? Now, with that in mind, so let us go to the first verse and read it from there. So please repeat after me. Shri Sukha Uvacha. Hare Krishna, am I on the call? Variyaneshate Prashna.
Varyaneshate Krishna.
कृतो लोकहितं नृपा
कृतो लोकाहितं नृपा
आत्मवेत्सम्मतः पुंसाम्
आत्मवित्सम्मतः पुंसा
श्रोतव्यादिषु यः परः
श्रोतव्यादियपरः
श्रीसुक उवाच
श्रीसुक उवाच
वरीयानेश ते प्रश्नः
वरीयानेश ते प्रश्नाः
कृतो लोकहितं नृपा
कृतो लोकाहितं नृपा
आत्मवेत्सम्मतः पुंसाम्
आत्मवित्सम्मतः पुंसा
श्रोतव्यादिषु यः परः
श्रोतव्यादेषु यः परः.
Yeah, a couple of people can recite this verse.
Shri Sukadev.
Yes, go ahead, Madhuradesh Prabhu, please.
Okay. Shri Sukadeva Vacha Variyanesh te prashnaha Krito lokahitam nripa Atmavid sammata pumsham Shrota vyadeshu ya praha.
Thank you, Prabhu. Two more people.
Honorable Prabhuji.
Okay, Danya.
Sri Sukha Uvacha Variyane Sate Prasna Vitolokahitam Rapa Atmavidsammata Pumsam Shrota Vyadisuya Paraha. Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Danya. One more.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Yes, Nilma Mataji. You can go ahead, Mataji.
Sri Sukha Uvacha Variyane Sate Prashna Kruto Lokahitam Nrupa Atmavitsammatah Pumsam Shrotavyadishu Yah Para. Thank you, Prabhuji.
Thank you, Mataji. Mataji, would you like to read the translation and purport, Mataji?
Yes, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna. Translation. Sri Sukadeva Goswami said, "My dear king, your question is glorious because it is very beneficial to all kinds of people. The answer to this question is the prime subject matter for hearing, and it is approved by all transcendentalists." Purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Even the very question is so nice that it is the best subject matter for hearing. Simply by such questioning and hearing, one can achieve the highest perfectional stage of life. Because Lord Krishna is the original Supreme Person, any question about him is original and perfect. Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said that the highest perfection of life is to achieve the transcendental loving service of Krishna. Because questions and answers about Krishna elevate one to the transcendental position. The questions of Maharaja Parikshit about Krishna philosophy are greatly glorified. Maharaja Parikshit wanted to absorb his mind completely in Krishna, and such absorption can be effected simply by hearing about the uncommon activities of Krishna. For instance, in the Bhagavad Gita, it is stated that simply by understanding the transcendental nature of Lord Krishna's appearance, disappearance, and activities, one can immediately return home back to Godhead and never come back to this miserable condition of material existence. It is very auspicious, therefore, to hear always about Krishna. So, Maharaja Parikshit requested Sukadeva Goswami to narrate the activities of Krishna so that he could engage his mind in Krishna. The activities of Krishna are non-different from Krishna himself. As long as one is engaged in hearing such transcendental activities of Krishna, he remains aloof from the conditional life of material existence. The topics of Lord Krishna are so auspicious that they purify the speaker, the hearer, and the inquirer. They are compared to the Ganges water which flow from the toe of Lord Krishna. Wherever the Ganges waters go, they purify the land and the person who bathes in them. Similarly, Krishna Katha or the topics of Krishna are so pure that wherever they are spoken, the place, the hearer, the inquirer, and the speaker and all concerned become purified. Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Mataji. So this is one of the purport. I like it so much because the purport is so small, but it included everything. Included everything. Especially if we look at it, the whole purpose of this, our practice itself is to get what? Why we are doing what we are doing in this world. It is a simple question for everyone. What is the purpose of our existence? A simple answer. What is the purpose of our existence? Or for that matter, anyone, not only devotees, even the non-devotees, what is the purpose of their existence? What do they do think? A non-devotee, what is he works for actually?
To fulfill their desires, Prabhuji.
For living.
Yes, to fulfill their desires. And someone said some more thing. Is
For
Navin Arad?
living. For living, Prabhuji.
Yes, for survival. But survival is the dormant thing. Like even animal survives, birds survives, dogs and dogs survives, and we survive. So survive is basically a dormant thing for everyone obviously struggle for. But if we take a step above, that means I want to go a step above the animal tendency. Then what is my purpose? Even animals strive to live, but will they stop there? Will they just stop there? For example, simple example I will give you. I observed this one in Discovery Theory also. Sorry, Discovery Channel too. So, for example, a tiger is hunting, a lion is hunting. Say, suppose there are 10 people there. All the lion needs is one person. Or will it kill one person and stops? It won't chase the remaining people?
Yeah, greed means greed, right?
No. Will it stop or it won't stop?
No, it
No.
won't stop.
Why?
So more and more greed.
There you go. More and more greed. More and more greed. I want to have as much as possible. I may not carry it, but I can take it and I can hide it and I can come back and I can do it. They do. So the whole point is basically after survival, what are we looking for actually? My stomach is empty. I beg for food. Once my stomach is full, then what is next? What comes next? My stomach is full. What comes next then?
Clothes, decorate.
There you go. Ultimately, what I'm seeking in all of this one, I survived. After survival, what I'm seeking actually?
Comfort.
Comfort. That is correct. Comfort, luxury, comfort. I want it to be something. See, I want it to be something. Something. That is where the difference is. See, we don't know whether animal consciously try to be different, but we human beings consciously try to be different, isn't it? Whatever the way, we want it to be noticed in our home. Even the most shyest person also wants to be noticed, is it not? Best examples are our own families. There are some people who are very shy, but deep down their heart, they desire to be recognized without them coming out and speaking, but they want to be discovered. That means every person living in this world wanted to be somebody. This is our nature. This is our nature. Our nature is by default to be happy, not sad. Anandamayo bhyasat. By nature of this soul, the soul's nature is being happy. It is the soul's nature. Now the question is basically, where do we get this happiness? Where do we get this happiness? If it is available something in a shop or something, then everyone will come and buy. As we discussed a few weeks back, this happiness, how do we define happiness? Anyone here on this call can define happiness? Anyone? Especially whoever is new, don't want to hear too philosophical answers. What is in a simplest sense happiness to me? Let me ask you, Sandeep, is it all right? What is happiness to you?
Contented with what I have, then looking for more.
So be happy with what you have and then ask for more or look for more.
Yes, Luz.
Okay. Someone else have any other different view about happiness? Nirima Mataji, do you have any comment on what is happiness mean to you?
Like comfortable living, Prabhuji, with family and friends.
Okay.
Like sufficient money and
Yes.
food.
So let us rephrase this answer. If I have sufficient money in bank, and if I have a home, and if I have a job, and I have a nice family, husband or wife or whoever it is, the spouse and the children, and especially the children are doing good in school too. Now, with all these things, you never want anything else other than this? Suppose if these are all given, is already there, so don't you want anything else?
We want something more, Prabhuji. Whatever we have, we always want something more.
Yes,
Yes.
that's the problem. That's the problem. Happiness means itself underneath. What is happiness means? What is the happiness exactly? What does it mean actually underneath?
I think happiness is to be content with what you have. Once you go looking for beyond what you have, is where unhappiness starts. That's my
Okay, that's the definition
on a
of,
normal.
yeah, let us take this definition. Madhuradesh Prabhu said, happiness means be happy with what I have. Is it happiness or is it satisfied? Is it happiness or is it satisfied?
I
It
think
is
the satisfied
contentment.
person is happy.
Contentment.
Navina Radha Mataji, you are saying something?
Yeah, it's contentment, like just to
Yeah.
be
So,
content.
yes. So, in other words, if I satisfied or if I control my urges, then that is not real happiness because I'm controlling it, right? The minute I control it, I lost the flavor. See, nothing excites me. When nothing excites me, where is the question of, this unbounded happiness? Unbounded happiness. I use it called unbounded happiness. See, if it is going peaceful, calm, everything as expected, will you be excited at all? You don't. So, in other words, that is the definition, the fundamental definition of happiness. Why in this material world we never found happiness is because of this fundamental reason. Happiness is never stale. stagnated and stays limited at one place. That is not happiness at all. Happiness ever changes. If you look at what is the famous line in the Walt Disney movies, the last line of the Walt Disney movies, especially Princess and Prince stories, what is the last line of Walt Disney movies?
They lived happily ever after.
Ever after. Happily ever after. That means it is never ending. It's constantly going. That means there is no limit to it. Simple example. Today, we had a feast. Assume that daily we eat rice, one rasam, one curry, and curd, 4 items. Suddenly, we made 8 items. I feel happy. Something excites me, which is different from normal. Normal, I have 4 items. Today, I have 8 items. Tomorrow also, we made 8 items. I'm okay. Day after tomorrow also, I made 8 items. Do I feel the same excitement I have the first day? Because having 8 became normal. Now, when it is normal, there is nothing to excite there. That means our happiness is subjected to a condition. Earlier, Mataji said, when I asked what is happiness, she said what? Nice bank balance, nice home, nice family, everything. That means we started off with that one. Once I have that, then that doesn't give me any more happiness what it already gave. It's done and finished. So in this material world, this we are talking about material world. In this material world, the happiness means basically, as Madhuradish Prabhu mentioned, being happy with what we have instead of going after something. This is not a true definition of a happiness, but that is what it is in this material world. So the same question Arjuna asked. If you all remember Bhagavad Gita, 2nd chapter, Arjuna asked a question. What is the question he asked? Anyone remember? A question asked. In the 2nd chapter, there is a question was asked by Arjuna. So the answer, the question was asked by Arjuna is what? How a Krishna conscious person lives, isn't it? I forgot the first line of that verse. But I remember the answer of Krishna. What is the answer of Krishna? Something it is. Yeah. Prajahati yada kaman sarvan pada sarvan. What is that? Prajahati yada kaman sarvan pada manogatan. Atmanyevatmano tustaha. So he's saying that whatever the desires that is coming off of my mind, if we control them, then what happened? I need not to feel other way around. But is it a true happiness we are talking about? No. But this is the way, kind of. Now here defining knowing about Krishna, this excites every day. Because the glories of Krishna is unlimited. So when we go after the activities of Krishna, every single day we can find something new and we can cherish it. We can cherish it. Just now only Madhuradish Prabhu mentioned that as a child or from his childhood, he started listening Bhagavatam. My case is too. I started first my listening of Bhagavatam is when I was in 4th grade. I was in 4th grade. That is when I start hearing about Mahabharat, Ramayana and Bhagavatam, especially Bhagavatam, officially. In my 4th grade, I started. So still today, what? Almost like 45 years, still today, or we are having the same excitement, and we are knowing more and more every single day. So that means the story of Krishna never stale. It is always increasing, going. That is the reason why we are asked to go. If we want happiness, go after transcendental things. What are all the transcendental things? Anything related to Krishna is transcendental, isn't it? The activities of Krishna. That is why Bhagavad Gita, the famous verse. Anyone remember the famous verse?
Jan karm chavid
There you go.
divyam.
That's correct. Janma karma cha me divyam. Janma means the birth of Krishna. Karma means his activities. If we know why Krishna was born, if we know what Krishna is doing it, why he is doing it, if we know that, that is enough. That is enough make us to go back to Godhead. Why? Because if we know and interested more to know about Krishna, then we spend less on ourselves. So if we have more interest on Krishna, then why are we living here? We should go where Krishna is living, right? When we love someone, if possible, we will stay as close as possible to them. That is given. But when we are staying away from them, then that shows we have some concerns. So here exactly what they are saying. Janma karma cha me divyam evam yo veti tatvataha. Tatvataha. Absolutely. Oh, we cannot imagine, oh, this could be like this could be like. No. We have to absolutely know why Krishna is doing what he is doing it. We cannot interpret our own answers. No. We have to understand truly what is it meant for. Tyaktva dehum. So once we leave this deha, then we need not to come back. So this is what exactly this verse is telling it. And especially here, I like this line, especially here. Where is it? It says that whoever is asking the questions to know about more Krishna. So there's a beautiful verse in Bhagavatam 11th canto, 9th canto, I think so. It is in 9th canto or 11th canto, 9th canto, I believe so. It says that Vasudeva Kata Prashna Pumsam Teen Punatahi. Yeah. Vaktaram Pruchakam Shrotrams Yatpada Salilam Tata. Tatpada Salilam Meta. So it says that whoever is asking these questions about Vasudeva Katha Prashna. So to know more about. So who is asking? Here Parikshit Maharaj is asking. So 3 kinds of people got liberated. Pumsam Trin Punatahi. So 3 kinds of people liberate. Who are these 3 kinds of people? Vaktaram, whoever is speaking. Prachakam, whoever is inquiring it. And then Shrotram, whoever is listening. That means by asking one question on this call, what happened? One person is asking a question, one person is answering it, the remaining people are listening. All the 3 get benefited. That is exactly what is being explained here. So when we attend a Bhagavatam class, this is exactly what's supposed to be. This is not just a simple kind of listening. This is a study. This is a study. Study means what? Paying more attention. What is the difference between a novel reading and a class book reading? What is the difference between a novel reading and a class book reading?
More attention, Prabhuji. We have to be very attentive for the class.
Yes. So the simple difference in novel, even if one word we don't understand, we don't care. We don't put a dictionary side by side and learn each and every single word to follow a novel. I don't know how many of you are having experience reading Harry Potter books. I had some experience when Harsha and Chandana was young, and I used to read with them. I tried my hands, especially the Lord of the Rings. I read though. So many difficult words. I thought of I need a dictionary to really understand word by word. As a gist, I can understand the entire thing. But if I wanted to study thoroughly, not enough. I need a dictionary then. We don't spend that kind of time on a novel. But when it comes to Bhagavatam reading, we do need that kind of study. That is why when we are doing anything related to Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavatam, the scriptural studies, understanding, this is called a study, workshop, not just mere listening. No, we participate. We participate. So that is why I encourage people to come up with questions, come up with comments, come up with something so that your mind is engaged on it. Most important is engaging our mind. The most important, once we engage the mind, the words, body automatically get engaged. Not the other way is true. We are forcing the other way. That is okay. When we cannot put mind, it is all right, we go into. But if we can put mind, that is the best of it. That is why Krishna, when he gave his instructions in Bhagavad Gita, 12th chapter, Bhakti Yoga, the chapter, the 8th verse, he started off what? Mayeva mana adhatva, maya buddhim neveshaya. So he said, give me your mind or focus your mind and intelligence on me. That is the first instruction he gave. But if we cannot focus, then what happened? If we cannot focus, then what happened? Abhyasena. Abhyasena. If we cannot focus our mind, then follow rules and regulations. If we cannot even follow the rules and regulations, then what you're supposed to do? So work for Krishna. Mat karma krit. Work for me. That means we are working at a bodily platform. From where to where this is all went? From went mind to the words to the body. This is the level Krishna is asking. So that is why if we participate, then our mind starts storing these things, remembering things, Krishna. Remember all of a sudden, suddenly, while we are talking, some cartoon will pop up, some movie scene will pop up, some drama scene will pop up, something will pop up in our mind. Why? Our mind stored them. The same way, when we listen these things, if we put our mind stores something and we can recollect it. We can recollect. We can use it whenever it's necessary to. So this is why, we need to study these scriptures, not just reading. We don't read, we study these scriptures. So even though this is a small paragraph, I just want to spend as much time as possible, so that we can set our moods when we attend these classes. Not only here, anywhere when we are listening to Bhagavatam, Bhagavad Gita, or any of these classes, our mind should be focused on that. So I'll stop it here and let us see if we have any other comments or questions from anyone. So I see Ram Prabhu also joined. Thank you, Prabhu. Dandut Pranam, all glories to Srila Prabhupada and Gurudev. So, all right. So, any comments from anyone? And also I see caller 2 and caller 3. May I know who are? Is it Subhadra Rani Mataji and Prasad Prabhu?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranama, Prasad.
Dandut Pranam, Prasad Prabhu. All right. Any comments, questions from anyone? Madhuradish Prabhu, Naveen Radha Mataji, Nayanar Prabhu. Anyone, please share your realizations or something.